We be live.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Guys, before we say anything else, make sure you like this video. Do it, okay? We're getting better at this. We're getting better at streaming. We don't suck at streaming anymore. We actually tell people to like the video. Guys, we're supposed to say this every time. If we don't say it every time, tell us in the live chat like, Armin, you forgot again to tell people to like the video, okay? Because that's what it takes apparently to grow these kind of
you have to be way more enthusiastic about it. You gotta smash that like button.
Yeah. Apparently threatening people with what happens if they don't. No, I've seen other channels, they threaten people. They're like, I'm going to come find you. I don't know if they get away with it because they're bigger channels, but like, I'm not going to threaten you. Because
you used to do that a lot, and I was very against it.
Yeah. It's a joke, but apparently YouTube might think it's serious. So I'm not going to threaten you. Just do it, okay? It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us grow. Anyways, we are going to talk about the news. We have 10 news items. All of them are religion related. It seems like it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, yes. They're going to be about atheism, secularism, religion, and stuff in between. Sometimes we have one or two news that is not religion related, but not today. So let's get into it, right?
Yes.
All right. Can we clap for the first news?
Yes, we can.
First news.
Exorcist bishop resigns in love with writer of Satanic-Erotic novels. So this was a story where I was like, hold up, we gotta cover this. Xavier Novell was a controversial figure in the Catholic priesthood in Spain. As the youngest bishop in the country and one of the few priests to continue carrying out exorcisms and conversion therapy. Xavier met Silvia Cabello when she was studying demonology. Silvia, a psychologist from Spain, writes erotic-themed books riddled with satanic representation. Her publisher describes her as dynamic and transgressive, someone who, quote, turns upside down our ideas of morality and ethics. Cabello also invites her readers to journey into, quote, sadism, madness, lust, and a struggle between good and evil. The bishop fell so deeply in love with Silvia that he abandoned the life he had cultivated for decades. Many in the local Catholic community were not supportive of the couple, especially Novell leaving the priesthood for a woman who was a divorcee. It is alleged that even Pope Francis twice asked him to undergo an exorcism.
Wait, Pope Francis actually takes exorcism seriously?
It was reported that, to use the words of the report, apparently Pope Francis twice asked him to undergo an exorcism, for which he refused.
Amazing. I want to clarify something. The Catholic Church was more concerned about the fact that he's falling for a divorcee, as you say it, rather than the fact that she's into satanic erotic novels and sadistic stuff and lust, and like the divorcee part was the highlight. I was like, oh, that was the thing that they couldn't stand, right? It's very Catholic. Very Catholic.
And to be fair, I don't know what the concern of that's not the Catholic Church. That was the Catholic community. So I follow the Catholic News Agency, and their comment section when they were reporting on this was wild. Like, some people were like, here's a quote. Good for him. It's okay for Church of England vicars to be married and convert to Catholicism because they don't like women in the clergy. In this day and age, like, does it really matter? I hope he's happy and found his new partner in life. And then other people are like, this is not okay. Like, well, and I'm also seeing conflicting reports over whether she's fully divorced or only separated. So there were a lot of people freaking out about her being only separated and how wrong that is and all this stuff. But
It's very Catholic, the thing that they're upset about. Like, you know, I don't know. I think like other Christians, like in the US, that would be like, she's like a devil worshipping satanic person, but the Catholics are like, "Ah, she's getting a divorce. Oh no, oh no,
Yeah.
divorce."
Here's a quote. Here's another quote from a Catholic commenting on this. I think it's wonderful he fell in love, but if the lady doesn't have an annulment, he is compounding fornication with adultery. Because he is a bishop, the sin is compounded and escalates to scandal and grave matter. We've lost Padre Alberto and Father Morris, good, amazing, charismatic priests. I hope the Holy Father will treat him with mercy. I am more concerned about the status of the woman. Was it a sacramental marriage? He can be released from his priestly state and have a Catholic family. I would rather see the news that priests fell in love with a beautiful lady than that they abused our children. Wow. Mandatory priestly celibacy has got to go. So that was that was one comment, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they think like all the child abuse hasn't given them that side, but marrying this woman, apparently that's the red line that makes them okay. Maybe celibacy was not a good idea. I I have a question. Is the love return like I like, is she also like into this guy, or like we keep assuming like he's in love with her, but we didn't hear about anything about what she feels?
Oh no, I believe they're going to live together now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds a little bit sus. No, I shouldn't. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Okay, I'm just.
Oh boy.
I mean, this is really good for sales for her. I don't know, for her books.
Hell yes! Oh my god, literally hell yes. No. Such a bad joke.
I mean,
it's actually really cute. So in a letter where a close acquaintance to him published this letter in Religion Digital, they recanted their conversation with him regarding his love, and they said he apparently was saying, I have fallen in love with a woman for the first time in my life, and I want to do things the right way and all this stuff. So I guess it took, a woman interested in the demons, which is apparently his craft and his trade to change, to change his world, change his life.
They both should like look at our recent blasphemous art, because we're putting more demons. We're including demons in our blasphemous art. That's a new trend where so check out our blasphemous art and at blasphemousart.com to see what we're talking about. But okay, I have a question. I don't understand how we could like be okay with all of this, given that, correct me if I'm wrong, when it comes to man versus demon, he seems to be on the man side and she seems to be on the demon side. Like, is this just like the novels that she's writing, is she not celebrating satanic rituals or erotic, lustful behavior with people, between demons and stuff? Like, what was he like? Did he just like okay, if I'm just gonna? Did he just leave his priesthood, or did he leave everything, all his beliefs, and it's like, okay, I'm cool with this now? Or is he just in love and he's just like, this is not okay, but I don't care, I'm in love? Like, how is this working out? Like, I don't understand.
He sounds like he's still a bit of a Catholic, because he's like, I want to do this the right way. Right. Or maybe he just means in terms of like actually stepping away from the priesthood is doing it the right way. I'm not sure. Wait, why are you saying I'm such a hopeless romantic? What gave that away?
No, that's the life. But go on.
Yes, I love this. I'm looking up. So one of her books, titled Trilogia Amnesia, the author posed the amusing rhetoric: what happens when the attraction is stronger than any code of ethics or social pressure? And that's exactly the situation that this man found himself in. It's a love that cannot be denied. And it just breaks all previous understandings of one's own personal ethics and morals. I'm here for it.
I think this could get very annoying very fast, because she's going to keep writing and he's going to be like, this is not real exorcism. Like, he's going to be reading them and he's going to be like, that's not real. You're misrepresenting our side. Like, and she's like, I don't know, there's going to be some exorcist scenes in her books. And he's going to be like, well, technically, we actually say this when we do this, not that.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to nerd it out. He's going to, actually, I don't know, maybe it ends up being good. Maybe she's going to use him because he's been studying demons in the Catholic school or whatever, witchcraft, like woo, I don't know, stuff that they study there. But she's going to be like, guys, my book is now more in line with Catholic doctrine. Like, this is like accurate. The demons are going to be, I don't know, they're going to be they're going to nerd it. Yeah.
I just translated a synopsis of one of her most famous books, and I feel like I should read this aloud just to give people a taste, because when I saw the first sentence, I was like, you're freaking kidding me. The erotic novel of the girlfriend of the former bishop of Susanna. No. Yeah, Susanna. So it's a book about being with a former bishop.
No way.
Yes.
Wait, and she wrote that before all of this happened?
Yes, this was released in 2016.
Amazing.
Logical versus illogical, moral versus amoral, rational versus irrational, good versus evil, and madness versus insanity. Madness versus sanity. This book consists of two clearly differentiated parts. Will put all these dichotomies in check, since the borders between such apparently antagonistic concepts are more diffuse than one would expect on a theoretical level. And then this is where it gets a bit hello. Is it correct for a psychologist to fall in love with your young adolescent patient affected by a severe picture of global amnesia? I'm like, pause, what?
What? Stop. Okay.
What happens when the attraction is stronger than any code of ethics or social pressure? Is it logical for that the top lord of the triad of trafficking and money laundering and one of his virgins for sale are emotionally linked? Can you love a murderer and your executioner? Will the protagonists of this heartbreaking story succumb to the most aberrant drives of their subconscious, or on the contrary, will the sense of ethics and morals prevail? What happens when all the schemes learned from childhood cease to be operational and you must therefore rely solely on your instinct to survive? Open the mind to the maximum, because what in the subsequent pages will be related is a direct challenge to any rational mind. Fasten the belts of your ego well, for that story is for them.
Okay, Suze, you should definitely do audiobooks. You should definitely start your own audiobook, voiceover, whatever business or something.
Oh, you liked my dramatic reading?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Okay, before we move on, I want to say that I can say with 100% certainty that these two, they're doing some demon-themed kinky stuff together. Okay, I'm pretty sure when it's sexy time, one of them is tying up the other one and the other one is pretending to be the exorcist, and they have like hot candles, and they're gonna loot like the 5-pointed star, and there's going to be red candles, and like they're gonna like chant some Latin stuff, and while they're having sex, and there's going to be like demons involved and I'm pretty sure that's most definitely part of what they're doing at sexy time.
Yeah, that's going down. It's going down.
Yeah. There's no doubt that that's what they're both into it. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Anything you want to highlight? Oh, Yeah, Babak should. You and Babak should.
Yeah, Gossip is saying
Uh,
Babak's voice is more sexy. For those who don't know, Babak is the co-host of the Persian Atheist Republic Persian channel, and he does have an insanely sexy voice.
Oh, secular artists saying we need blasphemous art of this story. I don't know, because they're not like celebrities.
We
or
can
famous,
take
I think.
inspiration from the story
Inspiration.
and do our
Yes,
own,
yes.
but we
Yes.
can't do non-public
Ooh,
figures.
I
like
actually
private
had an
citizens.
idea for one of our blasphemous art. You know the Eucharist when, when you're on your knees and the priest is giving.
Well, that's the most
Right?
formal way to do it. Most churches
Right.
don't
So
do it that way.
I want a blasphemous art of a nun on her knees, and she has her tongue out, and she's ready to
Oh.
receive the Eucharist from a priest, but it's not the Eucharist.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that should be the name. Yeah, that should be our
I
blasphemous
saw
art.
your inspiration art for that in the group chat.
Yeah, but so you saw what I saw, and you come up with the exact conclusion that what we should do with that. See, we think
Obviously.
alike. We think alike. Okay, good.
Oh my God, secular artist. The safe word is catechism.
That's good. All right. By the way, for people who are on our newsletter, that blasphemous art idea is going to happen. So you're going to get that in our, at some point you're going to see that blasphemous art in our, sent to you in our newsletter. And for the people who are not on our newsletter and they would like to see our blasphemous art, link to our newsletter is in the description. So get on our newsletter so you get our blasphemous art is free. So make sure you're on there. Anyways, should we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next news.
Next news. Berlin church holds Leather-Fetish and Kink-Inclusive concert. You heard that right, folks. So, on September 9th, participants clad in leather outfits attended the Classic Meets Fetish concert held at the 12 Apostles Evangelical Church in Berlin. Classic Meets Fetish is a for-charity classical music concert with a twist. All attendees and performers wear leather fetish outfits, including leather masks, braces, and vests. Tyrone Rotganger, one of the organizers of the Classic Meets Fetish and twice named Mr. Leather Germany, stated that most people equate the fetish scene with sex, but said, quote, "It's just another way to express yourself, like music." Eric Belvier, that's definitely not correct, but we're going to go with it, a singer-performer in the concert, claims that aside from being fun, the event helps foster better relationships with two different communities. The concert has been held in the 12 Apostles Evangelical Church since its inception, with the approval of the church's openly gay minister.
I swear these people are trying to make us endorse religion, and this is how they're gonna get us. This is how they're gonna get us. This is a trick. I'm not falling for it. Nice try though. Nice try. I'm so anti-reform and all, and they're like we know how to make them. We know their weakness. They can't say no to this. It's really hard to say to. Yeah, this is a trick, guys. It's a trap. But it's
that's so funny. Yeah, so Germany is very famous for its kink and fetish scene, and apparently this is part of a week in which I don't know how to put this. So in San Francisco, there is the world's largest BDSM fair, and it's called the Folsom Street Fair. And in reporting I saw in the story, they said that this event led up to and culminated in the world famous Folsom Street Fair. And I'm like, no. You, for a queer publication to get that wrong, I was insulted, okay? That happens only in Folsom Street, in South of Market, in San Francisco, okay? Get it right. But they do have like Folsom Europe, which happens in Berlin, which I actually didn't know about. And it happens in September every year. And I mean, this is something we don't even have in San Francisco. Like, I've never heard of a leather fetish church event here, and it takes over the city. Well, no, an entire district of the city. Like, we literally have a leather cultural district. But I thought this was really cool. And it was really interesting because, local reporters who were talking to people who attended this event were saying that there were people in the audience who were like, I'm not actually religious. Like, I don't even go to church. But I did think that this was a really interesting environment, and I did want to see the music. And like, I haven't been in a church for years besides this, but I'm loving this event.
And what about, did the Christians say that they're enjoying the fetish scene? So the fetish people were like, I like this church and all. Were the church people saying, I like the fetish scene? Like, this is interesting. I like it. Wait, can they put the Jesus statue in a leather? Like, can they have like a mini leather clothing for the Jesus on the cross?
The minister showed up in leather gear to bless the event. I was like, holy crap.
Oh God, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wait, is it a what kind of a church is this? It's like, it's not Catholic, is it? No.
It's evangelical.
Evangelical. All right. I think like I want, what the next step is, don't you?
What?
I think Catholic churches are fantastic. They have fantastic vibe for dungeons, right? I think the next step should be a Catholic church having an event where they turn the inside of the church into a BDSM dungeon. I mean, it's like, it looks very medieval and everything. I think it's fantastic. Just bring up, like, tie up everybody that comes is either gets tied up or they start, like, I don't know, torturing the people who are tied up. And then you have like people in hoods and the background medieval church music while people are just being tortured. And I think like, I don't know, I think it goes very well. I mean, if you look at a lot of dungeons, like BDSM dungeons, a lot of them go with the medieval interior design. And I think like it makes it easy for you to get that interior design where your church just looks like Catholic churches look medieval. So I think it fits very well. So I think
I feel like there's almost certainly somewhere in the world an abandoned church that
is a dungeon now,
has been reclaimed.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But I think like as a dungeon, but I think like this should be a church that has not been, like, it's still a church. It's a functioning church. And the priest is
still
like,
in use, and then just on the weekends, like on Friday night.
This Friday,
oh my God!
The priest is like, this is how we're gonna. This is what the kids. This is what the young are into these days. So the church could be like, we have to find new ways to attract people to come to the church. So this Friday, the church will be turned into a dungeon. Whether you're a sub or a dom, come over and we have something for you. And I think it should be crosses that you get to tie to as well. Oh, that's fantastic. They should have crosses where they tie people up to. And then you if you're being tied to a cross, you just have a Jesus outfit. And the person who is the dom will have a Roman outfit. Ooh, that is good. Imagine having like a nun put on a Roman outfit, and instead of a spear, she gets a whip, and another nun will put on a Jesus outfit, and she's tied to a cross.
Armin,
and
have you seen nuns in real life? Like real life nuns?
No, don't ruin this for me. Don't ruin this for me. Stop that.
It's not what you.
All right, I know. Okay, what are you? Hey, okay. What were you showing? Oh, you were showing the.
I was just showing some pictures of the event.
Okay.
You're such a pervert.
Proudly so.
Proudly so.
Yeah. Hey, we're both perverts. Okay, so can we? Do you want to highlight anything in the live chat before?
No, I think we should just go to the next
No,
news.
here. You read this one.
Zakuro was saying turning the church into a leather club, only it's brightly lit. Shouldn't it have dark red/green color instead? I mean, it's a day event.
Mm.
And I guess part of it is a lot of people in the leather or BDSM community like actually oppose that attitude. They're like, this isn't something that should only be designated for the night and dark corners. You know, like this is just something I like to wear, you know, and it's not, for a lot of people, it's even not necessarily sexual. For a lot of people it is. But they're like, why does it have to be in the dark? You know, why can't this be something that is celebrated in the daytime that's more normalized? But I don't know.
Secular.
I'm going to a leather walk tomorrow.
Oh, you are? Are you going to be wearing leather?
I have a leather jacket, yeah. It's really cool.
Hmm.
It has like fringe all over it. I look like a badass.
Ooh, another point is that this just reminded me of something. Zakuru saying, can we send Muhammad a job there? This makes me think like, I want to see mosques doing this thing, okay? I want to see a mosque having a hijabi fetish day, celebrating hijab fetish.
That defeats the purpose of hijab.
Well, but that's great then. No,
and not to them.
I know. Well, I think at some point, mosques in Western countries are going to get progressive enough. Okay, you've seen where some of these mosques are heading, right? So at some point, we're going to have mosques who will be thinking that if you don't have a hijabi fetish event, that would be kink shaming, and they are so progressive.
Oh my god!
That they would. They're so progressive that they would be like, we are not kink shaming anybody. And if you want to have a hijabi fetish event at our mosque, we will have a hijabi fetish event at our mosque.
I thought only Muslims are allowed inside of a mosque, right?
This is again, you haven't been
so
to this
progressive.
Crazy, you haven't seen, like, I've been in London, I've been to some crazy progressive mosques that, like, I think a lot of Muslims would be like pulling their hair out if they have ever even knew what's going on in there. Like, they are going into directions that I never thought possible. So no,
they still want to kick you out.
Yeah, they were welcoming to everybody except me. Like, they were like pro LGBT, like pro trans, anti-white, anti-male, extremely feminist, imperialism, and like it was like so Antifa-ish and like not very, I don't even know why it was called a mosque. I mean they said they did read the Quran and all, but it just didn't seem
they
like it
did
just
do
was like
that.
Yeah. I mean, it just seemed it was the most bizarre experience I had in a mosque, but it was new and interesting, and they were open, they were very tolerant, except to me, because I was asking questions. They were almost kicked me out. Well, it
was because and Jimmy Bangash were like laughing in the corner and how absurd and contradictory it is to every Islamic teaching. You guys understood? That's what I heard.
Okay, but I was very polite. I wasn't laughing. I just asked questions. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, but I'm just saying,
it was recanted back to me incorrectly then.
Don't trust Jimmy on anything he says about me.
It wasn't him, to be fair.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, but I think that will be my prediction right here is that at some point you are going to have a mosque that is going to have a hijab fetish themed event, and when you see it happen, we're going to clip this part of the video out, and we're going to be like, wow, how did Armin see that coming?
Murtad Skeptic is saying, asking questions, getting you kicked out. At least they retained that tradition.
All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next news.
Transgender professor fired by religious administrator to be reinstated. On September 13th, a federal appellate court ordered Southeastern Oklahoma State University to reinstate Dr. Rachel Tudor with tenure after she was wrongfully fired for being transgender. Previously, in 2007, Dr. Tudor, an assistant professor at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, transitioned and started formally identifying as a woman. She received a phone call from an anonymous source in the Human Resources Department claiming that the vice president for academic affairs was probing for ways to expel her from the university because her quote-unquote lifestyle as a transgender woman offended his religious sensibilities.
Wow.
In 2009, she was recommended for tenure but denied and was fired the next year because she had not obtained tenure. She suspected transphobic discrimination and promptly took legal action. She initially won her case in 2017 and was awarded $1 million in damages. Now, after a lengthy appeals process, it was determined that Dr. Tudor should be reinstated at the university, this time with the added security of a tenured position.
Amazing, amazing. I said this is not a he said, she said situation. This is like the court getting involved and then being investigated, and we already determined all of this. Was it on record that he said that this was because of her lifestyle? Like, this was on record? Like, that's amazing that we have that.
So she received a phone call from an unnamed person, reportedly in the HR department, basically bringing to her attention the fact that the vice president for academic affairs was looking for a way to fire her from a publicly funded institution. Okay, this isn't a private university where they can get away with this stuff more easily, because he was offended by her being publicly trans or publicly transitioning.
This is so amazing. This line, it always gets me because it's so like it's so amazing to me that they don't get what this means. Like, they saying her lifestyle is offensive to religious people. Do you understand? Religious people, okay? Listen to me. Pay attention right now, okay? Do you understand what it means for you to use that line of reasoning? Do you understand if you want to take this as a legitimate reason, and if you want to take this to its natural conclusion, that means none of you will be able to hold any jobs because we find religious people, religious beliefs, we find that offensive, okay? Like, not if this is the standard that you have, you would all be jobless. Islam offends me. Islamic lifestyle offends me. Christianity offends me. Hinduism offends me. Christian lifestyle offends me. If you're using as grounds to fire somebody, then you would all be jobless because you offend us. If that was reason enough to get rid of somebody.
There was further corroboration because this vice what's his full title? The vice president of academic affairs. His sister also worked at the university. And so his sister approached Dr. Tudor and said to take safety precautions. And this sister told Dr. Tudor that her brother thought trans people were, quote unquote, a grave offense to his religious sensibilities, end quote, according to the lawsuit. And it's kind of interesting. So in 2007, a jury agreed with Tudor that she was wrongfully fired and awarded her $1 million in damages. And this was years before we now have the Title IX discrimination now also includes anti-LGBT discrimination. So this was even before there was that legal precedent. And this is a quote from one of her lawyers that says, this is the first one of these Title IX civil rights cases for a trans person based on sex discrimination to go to jury trial. which she then won into 2017, which is like a very significant moment. And then over time through the appeals process, the reward to her was reduced to $300,000, and then the university appealed again, and then that's when the appeals court said, actually, you can get your job back, and this time you're getting tenure.
Wow! So the university appealed it, and it got worse for them.
I mean, if that's how you want to look at it, yeah. And your lawyer tried to argue that, oh, well, we can't have her back because of the hostility, because of this legal process. And the judge had such a good retort. They're like, there's typically litigation hostility because lawyers aren't saints. If we rely on litigation hostility, there's probably never a case where reinstatement can be awarded.
Right, and also you started the hostility, like, so like, oh, we can't have her back.
No, and then this is BS. Then they tried to argue that she's not qualified to receive tenure because she hasn't been releasing academic and scholarly work since she was fired. And they're like, yeah, you turned her life upside down. Of course she's not producing academic articles when she's fighting a court battle over the job you fired her for.
What? How did these people get to be lawyers? I don't get it. I'm almost glad that these people do this, because this sets a precedent. Like, I'm almost celebrating their bigotry. I don't know if that makes sense or not, because I want you guys to do this and then be crushed in the court, so that, because this case is now sets a precedent and it's going to protect a lot of more transgender people and their jobs, right? What do you think?
If I had a Supreme Court that wasn't so biased towards Christian privilege, and had like a liberal majority, I'd be like, yeah, bring it on. But I don't think currently we can take that kind of stuff as a guarantee.
In hindsight, I'm glad this happened. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah. But I love that the jury sided with her, and that the judge, especially within the appeals court, was so strong in her favor, being like, no, actually, you have to give her job back with more security than ever before.
Nice. I do want to highlight something in live chat that bothers me sometimes. Every time. Zakuru, don't mind me like highlighting this. Like, you might feel attacked, but that's fine. You get over it. Zakuru is saying, "What's wrong with transgender? ? Did they choose to be born that way? What's wrong with?" Okay, guys, saying did they choose to be born? Did they choose to be born that way? Makes it seem like it would be wrong if they had chosen to be born that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not the line of reasoning that we should be using, I think. Right? Because
I completely agree.
Yeah. Even if
I actually hate the documentation of rights from the standard of an immutable characteristic.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, this is there's no harm. That's why there's nothing wrong with it, right? To anyone else. So even if it was a choice, it would still be nothing wrong with it, right? It's not that it's not wrong because they don't get to choose. Whether they could choose it or not choose it, it will still not be wrong. It will still be okay, right? So that's my point. Anyways. Wait, hold on. Before we prepare. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes, just because it's kind of ridiculous.
Next news.
Parents sue the Department of Education for, quote unquote, promoting Aztec prayers in class. Californians for Equal Rights, or CFER for short, is a foundation organized to combat legislative actions that will facilitate the implementation of critical race theory in schools, and has become a bitter watchdog looming over the San Diego Unified School District, or SDUSD. Now, CFER and 3 local parents are suing the school district for allegedly promoting Aztec gods. The lawsuit calls for the removal of a non-mandated Aztec prayer from the ethnic studies curriculum. Robert Weisenberger, one of the attorneys that represents CFER, claims that, quote, the fact that the Aztec religion is not formally organized and is non-Western in its origin does not excuse the constitutional violations, adding, quote, our clients have a religious objection to the Aztec prayer, and they do not want their children chanting the Aztec prayer, being asked or pressured to do so, or risking ostracism if they refuse, end quote. The prayer is specifically used in the quote unquote affirmations, chants, and energizers that are included in the curriculum with the intention of teaching students about multiculturalism and building unity.
Wait, what kind of a school this is? Where is this? What kind of a...
So this is in San Diego, and this is in the public school district.
Public school district. Are they actually being forced to do the prayer?
No, this is not a mandated activity. This is just like something that's within their curriculum that teachers have the option of using in the classroom as a way to like kind of energize or do like fun affirmations for kids in the day or something, but do it in a way where you're displaying a different aspect for another culture, you know?
And so if you don't want to do it, the teacher is going to force you to do it?
No, it's not mandatory. It's not even mandatory that the teachers use this in the curriculum.
I'm just wondering, maybe I would like this, because I mean, would these people have the same standard if the prayer was Christian? You know what I mean? Like if the teacher was like, let us pray, you know, and it was a Christian prayer, would these people react the same? Or would they would they be like, we don't like you, with the teacher to be forcing?
I am skeptical. I know San Diego can have a very conservative strain in it. And I think because this foundation is so vehemently against critical race theory practices in the classroom, like critical race theory has become such a dog whistle for Christian moral panic at this point. I don't like critical race theory, but it's a moral panic in a lot of ways.
I mean, this is not critical race theory. These people just like call everything they don't like critical race theory these days.
Yeah, so there are other religion news services, they talk to professors, like they talked to a professor of Chicano studies, and they said that, quote, it is asinine to think that they are trying to establish the Aztec religion as part of the curriculum. Quote, in the bigger picture, it seems more like an extension of the concerted attacks on ethnic studies. This is just the new way of going about it. It really doesn't have a lot of merit in it. This doesn't represent how Chicano studies is taught in any meaningful sense. This is about a culturally affirming, culturally restoring educational practice that has also the impact of being incredibly effective, especially for Chicano students who are exposed to it.
I mean, if critical race theory now means introducing students to different cultures, then I guess I am for critical race theory, if that's the new definition. But okay, so here's the thing. I think introducing students to Aztec prayers is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with introducing the students to Aztec prayers. The only issue that I might have is if you tell the students to participate in a prayer, right? And then a lot of students might feel uncomfortable. And even if you could be like, well, I don't want to do it, you might feel pressure or isolated or weird if everybody's doing it and you're uncomfortable with it and you don't want to do it. It's an uncomfortable situation for the student. I think if you want to introduce the students to the Aztec prayer, maybe the teacher could read it out loud and tell people what it means, but I think it's not a good idea to tell the students to participate in a prayer for the same reason why I would be against the teacher telling people, the entire class, hey, look, guys, we're doing a Christian prayer. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. But now you're basically highlighting the students in the class who don't want to do a Christian prayer, and maybe they would be uncomfortable with being highlighted as maybe they're not open about not wanting to do a Christian prayer, and now you're like highlighting them to the entire class, right? So if the complaint about this was coming from people with some consistency, right? If like these were people who would be objecting to making the students, they would be objecting to making the students to an Aztec prayer in the same way they would be objecting to it if it was a Christian prayer, then I would be sympathetic to it. But given the language that these people are using, I think that these are just xenophobic, non-Christian things kind of people. You know what I mean? Like I have a suspicion that this is not the issue that they're having with this is not the fact that this is prayer and religion is being forced on our kids. The issue is that this is Aztec and this is non-Christian, right? And because of that, I'm not sympathetic. If that is the case, I'm not sympathetic to this crowd. But the same argument, if it was coming from a more consistent, less hypocritical kind of people, I would be in favor of it, depending on the situation, right?
Here's the thing. I think it's being characterized as a prayer, but they are... So here's a little bit more about it. These affirmations include the Mayan principle called Inlak-ek, which translates into "you are my other me." And according to the curriculum, embodies love, unity, and mutual respect. The lawsuit refers to the affirmations as an Aztec prayer. In the same section of affirmations and chants, there's a poem by Chicano playwright Luis Valdez about Inlak-ek, saying, and translated into English, "You are my other me. If I do harm to you, I do harm to myself. If I love and respect you, I love and respect myself." Except it's in Spanish and English for a bilingual classroom. It also includes longer adaptations that explore the Aztec concept of Nahui Olin, or the four movements. The chant references the Aztec deities. I can't say these names.
I mean, there's deities involved. This is the prayers. This is prayer. I would characterize this as prayer. But even if it's prayer or not, like, yeah, I think it's prayer. D is saying, do we know what grade and what class this is specifically? Do you know?
I don't know, but because it is a unified school district, it is between the ages of K through 12. But ethnic studies isn't usually introduced to kids until middle school, I think. So,
I mean, I don't understand why you have to make the kids do this. Like, just tell them this is put it on the board, do a PowerPoint, read it yourself, tell them what it means. Like it's just like, it's, you know, why do you have to make things weird? Like, why do you have to make the kids participate in the chanting? Just tell them.
Well, one of them is just a poem about a concept of love and mutual respect
from
another culture. I've been in
poetry classes. The teacher reads the poetry.
That's not a prayer.
I know, but I'm just saying, even in poetry classes, okay, you're not like the teacher doesn't come and says like, let's read it all together. Like that doesn't happen. I mean, the teacher analyzes the poetry. If somebody wants to read a part out loud, maybe the teacher. I mean, I don't know. I just think like they're just making it weird. Like, don't make it. Just teach the material. Like, stop. I don't know. I just think make it, especially for introverts, right? It just makes it a less welcoming teaching environment. I think like some of the teachers don't understand how much anxiety a lot of these students have to deal with, just publicly having to come out.
That's a different argument then.
I know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just in general thinking like, This is why more and more people should do online education, because you don't have to deal with environments like this. I like that. Wait,
That's
I don't wanna
like
go outside.
generalized introvert problem. That doesn't have to do with the specific subject matter.
Introverts matter. You know, you have to make. I don't know.
That's
anyways.
not a legal argument, Armin.
I'm just using this as a way to rant about how inconsiderate some teachers are about their students. You know, I just felt it was a good time to rant about this. Anyways,
I can appreciate that. You are an introvert. I get it.
am I? I don't know.
Remember we did your personality test.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And you were an introvert.
Why am I streaming all the time? Actually, maybe you're right, because this is the form of social. You know, I prefer not meeting people in real life. This is
it's a one-sided social interaction.
It's a one-sided social interaction.
I scream into the void. People listen. They tell me things in the live chat. I don't have to see anyone. It sounds perfect to an introvert.
True.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I am very extroverted, and I do need to see people in person. Like, that's a major difference between us.
Exactly. This is why you've been depressed because of the whole pandemic stuff, and I'm like, I don't see the issue. I mean, only with regards to like being lonely and stuff. Anyways, should we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next news.
Afghan women fight for rights with #DoNotTouchMyClothes campaign. Less than a month after the Taliban scrambled to assemble a skeletal government, the women in Afghanistan are fighting back. There are reports of crowds gathering to demonstrate against the Taliban. Now, the fight for women's rights within the Taliban regime moves to a new front online with the hashtag #DoNotTouchMyClothes. The online movement directly responds to the Taliban's rehearsed conference at the Shahid Rabbani Education University, where women clad in burqas were covered in black from head to toe. The online campaign involves women all around the world posting themselves wearing their colorful, traditional Afghan clothing, a stark contrast to what the Taliban prescribes. These multicolored dresses come with many unique variations from different regions of Afghanistan. The dress also includes pleated long skirts perfect for the swirling and spinning motions of Afghanistan's national dance, the Atan. So if you go to the description, we can show that video.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You have a video. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we can actually see. So I found this video after we posted it to the story to our website. And here, wait, are you sharing audio?
Should I share audio? I'm not.
Yeah, I kind of liked it because then you actually get to see one of these women like talk about it herself.
Is there music? Because we could get a copyright strike.
Okay, there is subtitles, so no audio. Then there definitely is like background music.
Yeah, the background music could get us. Oh, yeah, there's background music. This is a traditional. Okay, you want to read the subtitles? Because
Okay,
we're doing this as a podcast. Yeah, okay.
So it says, this is the traditional Afghan female dress, and it shows a woman with a very like technicolor dress. And this is the image the Taliban are spreading. And it shows a woman at the recent conference where there were women basically, for lack of a better words, dressed as a Dementor for Harry Potter in like a form of burqa I haven't seen before. Like,
this is new.
Yeah, it's new, right? Like this, like it's not kind of the mesh over the face. It's this hood that goes over the face. I can't even imagine how you can see anything in this.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Can I be honest? Compared to
literally
what the Taliban...
is just wearing like a. Go ahead.
Can I speak? Maybe. I'm just saying, like, compared to what the Taliban had 20 years ago, the blue one with the holes. Okay. This actually looks more elegant. I don't know. It looks like she's like hiding like some blades or something, and it's about to, I don't know. Like it looks like it belongs into like a dark, demonic, I don't know, very interesting movie. Like it looks badass. Okay, I must say that, but it looks very inconvenient. How do they see? Like I'm pretty sure they can see, but I want to know how. Like are there holes over, like what is this? Is this whole thing because of the sun? Like are they being like, we're protecting our, because I mean you're already covering the face, what's the point of this? I mean the blue one that they had 20 years ago, it had holes and you could see, like, okay, I guess you could see through that somewhat, but now you have like, these people will these people ever see the sky ever again? I mean, every time you're stepping outside, not only your face is covered, but also on top of it. Like, if I was just wearing that on top of my head,
you're only going to be able to see like the bottom 2/3 of your entire view, your entire field of vision.
Is this even safe? Wouldn't you be hitting your head too? Like, if you're getting out of like a taxi or a car, like, wouldn't you be hitting your head constantly to things? Wouldn't you be walking? This is dangerous. This is like a health hazard. Also, vitamin D. Wouldn't they have vitamin D? Wouldn't these women have like vitamin D deficiency?
Yes. This is like an actual thing. This is like a problem with the hijab. That's an actual thing.
Yeah.
And I mean that photo from that conference in the Shahid Rabini Education University is so stark, right? Like that, I feel like that's going to be a very famous image for years to come. It's like an entire conference room of women all dressed like this with little Taliban flags on their desks, and they are completely indistinguishable from other people, from each other. And it just reminds me of Yasmin Mohammed talking about how it is the purpose for the erasure of women, the erasure of one's identity and individuality.
Wait, look.
Yes.
It's a Dementor. It looks like a Dementor.
It literally does.
I mean, this was the ideal look in the Harry Potter movies and books about something that represents the absolute lack of happiness and joy, right?
True.
So
the whole point of it is to literally suck your soul out.
Yeah. I mean, what does that tell you? Like, they tried to come up with the outfit, the look that would best represent the absolute lack of anything, any amount of happiness or joy. And this is what the people come up with as what that would look like. Okay. This is what Harry Potter
years in advance.
And now these people are like, yeah, that's now what a woman would look like in Afghanistan, is like what represents the absolute lack of joy and happiness. Great. I mean, what does that say about? Yeah.
And I don't want to hear any bullshit from anyone going, oh, you guys are so racist for saying that this looks like a Dementor, blah, blah, blah. When there are dozens of Afghan women across the world calling it the exact same thing. Not that we need their validation to make it correct, but you're actually doing a disservice to Afghan culture by claiming that this is Afghan culture, because it isn't. Which is the whole point, which is the whole freaking point of this hashtag, is to show the world, stop saying that this is how we are, because it's actually against our culture. It's an erasure of our customs. Sorry, right. But that actually is going to be highlighted in parts of this video. So can you please play?
No, wait. I have a solution to all this. I know how to fix this. You just have to, like, whenever you see one of them in the street, just say expecto patronum. Expecto patronum.
I thought it was expecto patronus.
Patronum. No. Here. Expecto patronum, or the patronus charm, will cast a patronus which can appear as simply white vapor or more advanced or in more advanced casters as a silvery white animal shape. It takes the shape of an animal. It is called corporeal patronus.
Got it.
Oh yes, this spell is used to ward off the mentors, which are the guardians of Azkaban. I mean, maybe you should send them
So
to
wait,
guard
for those who don't
the
know,
jails.
in Harry Potter, if you are faced with one of these creatures that will literally suck out your soul, you cast a spell that basically creates like a spirit animal that protects you. That's what that spell does. Anyways,
you know how.
But no,
ISIS
wait,
came-
really quickly. If you do see a woman in the street wearing a niqab, don't do that. He was joking.
Oh, yeah, I'm joking. Don't do that. Oh, thank you for clarifying. Because thank you, Susie. You know, because some people don't understand that. So thank you. But another joke. You know how Taliban has been very bad at protecting its prisons and just keep letting ISIS-K members out the prison. Okay, I heard the mentors can be used to protect.
I heard that they can be used to protect prisons.
Prisons, so maybe just send them to guard the jails. Anyways, okay, guys, the reason, just to understand, that we're not making fun of these women. This has been forced upon them or been put in situations where they think this is good for them. Okay, so this is not us. Yeah, this is about the whole. We're against this practice that is big. This is anti-woman behavior. Okay, so these women are the victims. Okay, we're not like, I'm making these jokes to make fun of the practice. I'm not making these jokes to make fun of the woman. The situation these women are dealing with is unfortunate for them. They are don't see them as the people who we are against. They are the victims of this. So thank you so much, Susanna, for clarifying that. That's very important. Anyways, let's continue.
So Afghan are showcasing their traditional attire online. And so you see this is the woman who first started the hashtag or posting these photos. She's saying, "This is Afghan culture. I am wearing a traditional Afghan dress." Trying to say burqa is not traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to fight that stereotype.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. I'm not going to be picky. All right. Oh, we posted this on Atheist Republic. Yeah.
And so there's another woman saying, "This is our Afghan authentic dress. Afghan women wear such colorful and modest attires. The black burqa has never been part of the Afghan culture. Hashtag free Afghanistan."
All right. I'm going to just be a little bit picky. Okay. If you are an Afghan woman and you don't want to wear that black thing or this, that's completely fine. Like, you're not less of an Afghan if you don't want to wear this traditional clothing as well, right? So if you don't like either, I mean, this is Afghan tradition, but if you like something that people will like, oh, that's Western culture, just you do you, okay? So just wanted to mention that.
Well, that's not what these women are saying, though. They're trying to fight.
No, I know they're trying to. Okay, that's why I didn't want to be picky, because not everybody is careful about how they say things, okay? And it's fine because not everybody is
picky.
No, okay, I didn't want to, but I have to. It's just my nature. I can't help it. I just don't like the phrase Afghan women wear such colorful and modest attires. Well, not all of them. Some of them, most of them don't. This is like a very traditional, like you would put this, if you were putting this on, it's not to go get groceries. This is like you're getting ready for a photo shoot, or like this is not something that people just wear. You're either
like
participating
weddings,
in a
formal
traditional
occasions,
wedding, or like, you're getting ready for a photo shoot. This is technically not what Afghan women actually wear, like unless they were like getting ready for something very specific. Okay, but yeah, let's continue. I mean, I would say most Afghan women have never worn anything like this. Okay, I would say that. Yeah, I would say most. I might be wrong, but I would say the vast majority of Afghan, like if you get, like you have to be like upper class privileged to be able to even go spend the money like this and to get a photo, like to get a photo shoot. Like, yeah, I would say the vast majority of Afghan women have never put anything on like this. Well, I could be wrong. I'm happy to be corrected.
A lot of women using this hashtag online, maybe not all, I don't know what amount, are Afghan women outside of Afghanistan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, even if you're in Afghanistan, you probably, if you're wearing this, you're also signaling that you're of wealth, that you could afford to do stuff like this. So I would say, anyways. There we go.
Then it continues. This is an Afghan traditional dress. This is my culture, and I'll stay true to my values. I'll not let anyone to colonize my culture and my identity. I thought this was very interesting because so many people in the West don't recognize Islam as a colonizing force. They actually think it is decolonial in some way, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna be picky. I'm gonna try. I don't have to attack it. You don't have to attack everything, Armin. Okay, go on.
Another woman goes, "These are traditional Afghan clothes, not this," and with a ninja emoji. And then thanking other women who are posting this for the inspiration.
Okay. Don't. It's okay if you're a ninja. This is okay. All right. Don't let anybody tell you that it's wrong to be ninja. I just want to say that I just want to address that this is still a little bit Islamic culture. Okay, because you can see that the actual full-on Afghan traditional clothing doesn't have the hijab, right? So even though this one is more, I mean, it's still somewhat inspired with the hijab, okay? And this one, what do you like? This is Islamic culture, okay? Just because your hijab is not colorful, that doesn't make it not Islamic. So yeah, it might be a mix of Afghani.
Well, these women might be Muslims, and that's why they're wearing it in their photos.
Yeah, well, but still, they might be Muslim, but I'm arguing that Islam as a whole is a colonial, it's a foreign culture that came to Afghanistan from Arabia, right? So if you're like this is Afghan culture, well, some of it is foreign, and if this is okay, this is what I was trying not to be picky about, but I can't. I have to. Okay, just because a culture is coming from somewhere else, that by itself doesn't make it bad. Okay, the fact that a culture you're like, oh, we have our local culture. Well, all of your local culture has come at some point from other places, right? Like, it's not inherently bad to accept cultures from other places and mix it with your own. It's just that Islamic cultures are inferior culture, right? So we're not anti-foreign culture. We're anti-inferior foreign culture. But anyways, let's continue.
So here is a woman named Paymana Assad, who is a British Afghan politician. And she's saying, we can get rid of this myth or this idea that the Taliban are trying to show the world that Afghan women should dress in all black, that Afghan women should cover their faces. We hope that this spreads the message that our clothes are very vibrant, very diverse, very colorful. They're very beautiful. And that Afghan life is all about color. And then the grassroots campaign comes in response to this rally. Groups of women veiled from head to toe filled an auditorium at Kabul University expressing support for the Taliban.
Oh my God, look at this degeneracy. Look at this degeneracy over here.
How dare
you? What
is
this? This is blue. I am immediately attracted to this woman.
And you can see the eyebrows.
Yes. How are they not showing? Like, does she feel like, I don't know. I'm trying to not use that word. She
looks uncomfortable. I would be uncomfortable.
Oh no. Too much skin and too much color. This is too attractive. We're all being aroused right now. All of us. How dare you? All right, continue.
What I saw at Kabul University was incredibly alien to Afghan culture. Wait, hit play?
Yeah.
to the Afghan people. And it made me so incredibly angry that this was an attack on Afghan identity and Afghan culture, and that they were trying to change the way that women dress in Afghanistan. It wasn't even the traditional sort of burqa, the chadari, that we've seen women in Afghanistan wear over decades.
How is she like? How does she move? This is so weird. Look at her.
This is something completely different and completely alien being introduced to Afghanistan. Dozens of women have already joined the online campaign and in and outside of Afghanistan.
Look at these pictures.
Yeah, it's part of a broader effort by Afghan women to demand the new Taliban government respect their rights.
I wish they didn't have music. So
during their previous rule, the Taliban forced women to wear the burqa. Since their takeover in August, they have so far not officially banned women from showing their faces in public. But now they have to wear a face covering niqab if they want to attend university. And that's it.
Okay. So let me be fair. Because I assume, like, where do these, like, so you could just, like, take it off after you leave the university, so you could get your sunlight. Just maybe in university you have to wear that. I'm just hoping that they just like, get their vitamin D, right? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think the Taliban is going to mandate that for everybody. Okay, I think they're going to make it.
What's your basis for that?
Well, I mean, it's just going to be, right now they're going to run out of money soon, and they're going to be under so much pressure to open international trade, and this might, like, not make that happen. I think they're going to make it mandatory for, I don't know, getting a job, going to university. I think that's where they're going to be like, okay, you guys have to do this, like, and they're going to be like, come on, guys, we used to not even let women go to university, and now we're like, just put this Dementor stuff on and then go to university, right? So I think maybe that's what's going to happen. I don't know, because I also heard that they're going to make women not be able to go get education, anything above grade 6. So I don't know, why are we talking about university? Is that going to be allowed?
That's something we're going to talk about in the next segment, actually.
Okay. So we're going to cover that. But I mean, my sympathy goes mostly to women that have been brainwashed enough to wear this even when it's not mandatory. Do you know what I mean? Because I guess the other woman could be like, God damn it, I have to wear this on my way to university. But at least they could go out and, like, still go and see the sun and feel the wind on their skin when they're not in university, you know? So that's, I mean, that's, I don't know. It's hard. It's weird that I'm celebrating that because it's horrible, but it could be worse. I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, so we're gonna cover to see what education. Let me actually see if there's anything in the live chat. Secular Edge is saying this is truly awesome. The Soviet Union couldn't stop the Taliban. The U.S. couldn't stop the Taliban, but they will be brought down by Afghan women. I think
that's an extreme overstatement. This is that campaign, in my view, is more aimed outwardly necessarily than inwardly. It's to show the outside world, hey, this actually isn't native to our culture. Please stop saying so. Or maybe being sympathetic to them as returning to Afghan culture that this occupying force prohibited them from. That's actually not true, and you're doing a disservice to our culture when you take that really regressive line. Okay. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think secularity, I think you're being overly optimistic about the possibilities of this. I think the only thing that could bring down the Taliban is now the Taliban. It's going to be Taliban versus Taliban.
What about ISIS-K?
No. Well, I mean, ISIS-K is ex-Taliban, so even if it's that, it will still be kind of the Taliban. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I think, like, everybody finds it difficult to maintain order in Afghanistan. The Russians have discovered that. Alexander the Great discovered that. Americans have discovered that. And I think the Taliban is also going to rediscover that once again, that it's even difficult for the Taliban to maintain. We'll see. Anyways,
I have a
can we
hot take. Actually, maybe
Hot take, go
now's not the time for it. Never mind.
No, give it. Come on. Bring it. Come on, go.
If someone succeeds in not having this nation be in perpetual civil war, I will congratulate that.
I mean, it's a utilitarian calculation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to congratulate the people, but we're going to be happy for people not dying and suffering. Even if it's a very horrible situation, you're basically, it could be worse. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's very fair, but I think the thing is that we have to be mindful about how we say it, because that line of reasoning can be used to then celebrate people who don't deserve it, or make excuses for people who are actually committing human rights violations. So I think every time we want to argue that, it has to come up with a lot of condemnation and context. You know, we can't just throw that out in a vacuum and just say it. I think you have to just
and it can also be used to discourage other people across the world in various countries from fighting for their own autonomy and rights in a variety of settings.
Yeah, I have changed my ways on this. I have come to this understanding that even if something you say is true, if it could be misused, then you have to provide some context before saying it, right? Anyways, can I clap for the next news?
What do you think?
Better let's not. Given what we just said, let's not. Next news.
Next news, Taliban announcement, women allowed in gender-segregated universities. A month after the Taliban recaptured Kabul, Taliban officials began to construct their interim cabinet and outline their expectations for governance. Abdul Baqi Haqqani, the Taliban government's new minister for higher education, announced on September 12th that women could attend university. However, women will be required to attend universities and schools that are segregated by gender. Haqqani also said that dress codes are mandatory, indicating that wearing the hijab is compulsory and must be worn at all times. Segregating classes, especially universities, is already becoming a logistical nightmare. University representatives are worried that there will be no female teachers available to teach all female classes. The subjects that will be allowed to be taught are also reportedly under review, with not much elaboration from Taliban officials.
Yeah, this is going to be a major issue. I mean, they had a temporary solution. Let me bring it up first. This was their temporary solution. I don't know if people saw that.
Well, can you describe it for people who are listening?
Oh yeah, they just basically cut the classes in half, and they put a curtain in the middle so that the men can't see the women, so that all of a sudden all sorts of depravity doesn't start in the middle of the class. I mean, if this curtain wasn't here in the middle, this would just turn into an orgy right away. Like, obviously,
shut the fuck up.
like thank God for this curtain. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God, I hate you.
Wow, look, actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4 men and 5 women. Women seem to be more interested in education. Interesting. No, I'm just but anyways, this was their temporary solution. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, there was also, like I was saying, there's a lot of logistical stuff that makes this quite difficult. Like, it makes me think of in the United States when there were separate but equal, supposedly segregated classrooms, but segregated by race, where theoretically the idea was under the law, segregation was okay as long as the accommodations were equal, but they were never equal. They were never the same quality, right? So it's probably going to be a similar situation where even if women do have some form of access to higher education, it's not going to be of the same standard. And then there's the question again of like, okay, if we have to segregate these by sex, then what about these professors? Especially if it's going to be increasingly difficult for women to attain higher education, that means that there's going to be a severe deficit in the market of female professors who can meet that demand. I saw some analysts saying that like maybe they will figure out something like with video calls with male professors. Like, well, there'll be like a Skype call where they call in and that's how you give a lecture or something. But yeah, logistically, this is going to be very difficult to execute. I think it's reasonable to say that it will not be of the same quality or standard. And then yesterday, there was this announcement that Taliban says that Afghan boys' schools can reopen, but there's no mention of girls. So some news agencies went ahead and said this effectively bans women's education. And I don't know if, like, they haven't made a declaration against women's education in high school specifically, but not mentioning it is suspicious. Well, let me read the news. From Reuters, Afghan schools will open for boys from Saturday, which was, yesterday for that time zone. The new Taliban Ministry of Education said in a statement that gave no indication of when girls may be able to return to their classes. More than a month after the movement seized the capital, Kabul, most educational institutions have remained closed as the Taliban have struggled to reopen the economy and restore normal life in the cities. At some of the schools that have managed to operate, girls up to the 6th grade have attended, and women students have gone to university classes, but high schools for girls have been closed. Taliban officials have said that they will not replicate the fundamentalist policies of the previous Taliban government, which banned girls' education. And they have promised that girls will be able to study so long as they do so in segregated classrooms. While the Taliban did not order schools to close after their takeover, the movement has said the security situation meant that many activities for women and girls were not yet possible, and the latest statements did not mention girls at all. It said state and private schools at primary and secondary level, as well as official madrasa religious schools, will be open starting Saturday. All teachers and male students should attend school, the statement said. So what do you think of all that?
I have some thoughts, but before we go there, I think Music Guy is bringing up an interesting point. Do you want to read that?
Music Guy eloquently stated, I'm sure most of the educated have yeeted Afghanistan.
I would think that would be true even more so for educated Afghani women as well, right? So, which apparently that now they're much needed in Afghanistan for teaching classes. And here's another comment. Read this. Do it.
I hate you guys. So Kuduro is saying, women's education is now Taliban.
Okay. All right.
Just
I have a thought about some ways to alleviate this situation. And I'm going to go with the recommendation of the Egyptian imam. Okay. Do you remember the Egyptian imam who, how in Islam, men can be with women if they are family? Okay. And we have Islamic hadith that if you drink another woman's milk, you will become family with them.
Yes.
And that's a way for men and women who are not related with each other to become related with each other. And we have Islamic hadith on this, where Aisha had used this to be able to hang out with men that she wasn't family members with, even though she wasn't lactating. She had sisters who were lactating, and she got their milk and gave it to men that she wanted to hang out with, so that their family.
Not hang out. She needed to command them in an army.
In an army and stuff.
She wanted to speak to them.
And we had an Egyptian imam that was also suggesting that in workplace, women who want to enter the workplace with other men, they should be breastfeeding men, just the same way in Hadith, Aisha's sisters breastfed the men that she wanted to be with. In the modern workplace, this Egyptian imam was also suggesting that women can breastfeed the men in their office as a way to be able to be around them. So I think the Taliban should make some concessions like this as well. I think, like, in universities, if you are lactating, just breastfeed the entire class and your professor, right? It doesn't take much. I heard like 2 sucks is enough to make you a family. So just give like just let's
Was it
just
between?
line up.
Wasn't it between like
Guys,
2 to 10?
I think it was 2. But guys, I'm not even making this up. This is Islam. This is Islamic hadith, right?
This is a real.
So
yeah, it's real.
So if you really want to be educated, either get pregnant or find a pregnant person in your family member and just bring them to class and just line up all the male students and your professor and just breastfeed the entire class, and then you could attend because you're not all family. I actually also, there's even a story that Aisha was never lactating herself because she never had a child, so she kept using her family members to this. And I remember that we were talking about Aisha's families hiding the fact that they were pregnant, and we made this up because they were like, "Oh my God, if Aisha if Aisha finds out that we're pregnant, she's gonna make us lactate her entire army, like breastfeed her entire army. So hide the baby." Just like, anyway, guys, I'm not making this up. This is actual Islam, and this was an actual decree by an imam in Egypt as well.
Well,
and
he wasn't an imam; he was just a scholar. They got promptly reprimanded.
Okay. Yes. But
yeah, no, that did really happen.
Yes, and actually, one of the most famous modern scholars in Islamic. In Islamic scholarship, which is celebrated and authenticates hadith, the most celebrated modern Islamic scholar, which was, I think his name was Albani. You remember?
You nailed it.
Yeah, he actually said the reason why this works in Islam, because people were asking the scholar, and guys, this was the most celebrated as modern Islamic scholar before he died. Okay, and this is within our lifetime. Because people were asking, how could you actually be breastfed by a woman? Because now your lips have to touch her nipples,
and that's forbidden
before you become family, right?
Yeah.
So how could your lips touch her nipples while she's haram to you, right? And that's forbidden. Like maybe after it's halal, but not before. And he argued that the nipples are excluded from being haram to men because nipples are dark. And nobody would be attracted to dark skin. So because nipples are dark and they are unattractive, which sounds racist actually, now that I think about it.
Correct.
The nipple area is a part of a woman's skin that it's not haram to touch. So you could...
Because it is not a subject of temptation because it is dark and ugly, basically.
Exactly. So when you are sucking on the nipple, you have to just make sure your lips don't touch. Like if the woman has very small nipples, then you have to be very careful because your lips might actually touch the outside parts of the nipple.
What if
and
your
that would be
nipples
haram.
are dark?
Then you're screwed. If you have pink nipples, then you're screwed because that's actually apparently
I'm screwed.
Not. Oh wait, we have a pussy prophet.
Yeah, a pussy prophet shows up right now. Yo,
no,
what's
like
up, bro?
He's like, that's stupid. I like nipples. I do too. No, but a lot of people were asking.
Temptation.
Yeah, no, but a lot of people are like, wait, Imam Albani. So what if somebody is dark skin all over? Like, is
the whole rest
now?
of them no longer a subject of temptation? Therefore, it's all good.
So we could do it. Yeah, I mean, this means like, yeah, they're halal.
Well, Muhammad Hijab, that was actually exactly what he said in that video that's been deleted, and that's why he got in so much trouble. And yeah,
Islam,
like Sunnah discourse was going after him. Like it really devolved.
Yeah.
Like that's what I loved about that Dawa drama, because I just love Dawa drama. But that was like the wildest dawa drama ever because it exposed a lot of non-Muslims to that aspect of Islam where they're like, you guys have nipple sucking? Like, your scholarship is dedicated to figuring out how you suck the nipples of a woman to make her your family member? Okay, that itself is weird already, but then you have to actually argue over the technicalities of it? What am I hearing?
Yeah. Yeah, basically the summary is adult men being breastfed by adult women who they are not related with as a way to become related to them so that they become family member.
And adult men arguing over how to do this the right way.
The right way, and arguing over if nipples are actually a source of attraction or not because of how dark they are. This is guys, this is a subject on serious argument among Muslim scholars and Dawa people in the 21st century. Amazing.
The year of our Lord 2021.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's a good way to spend our time, right?
Read this one.
Oh my God. So Kuro was saying maybe they should design a burqa which covers the woman's from head to toe, but the nipples alone are exposed.
I mean, why not? They're unattractive. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Albani had a lot of nerve speaking on behalf of all men. He had a lot of nerve.
Yeah, like, did he actually look at the nipples of his wife and went like, "Ew,
they're dark."
Yeah. Why? Gross.
Well, this news segment really went off the rails.
Yeah. All right. We should turn that into one of our blasphemous art, where you have a full-on hijab but the nipples are showing. I don't know. We'll see.
And it could say like.
I should
make my Muharram here or something. Like it's written on the chest.
We should do something. We should actually do an art about that. Anyways, by the way, Apostate Prophet is here. We should actually do an art. I promise Apostate Prophet that we're going to do an art featuring him. So remind me to talk to you about that after the stream.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Let's do should we clap for the next news?
No.
Okay, next news.
It's not that bad, but Christian harasses women for wearing bikinis, preaches at them. A viral TikTok video gaining more than 1 million views shows a man harassing women on a beach. The video, uploaded in early September by Mia, who goes by the TikTok handle Garbage Fairy with 2 G's, offers a first-person perspective of someone being harassed for their choice of clothing. Wait, no, we should play that with audio in a second. The video opens with a burst of laughter, followed by the man asking the girls, "Why are you dressed this way?" The man added that they are wearing a thong and a bra, accusing Mia and her friends of wearing, I can't say this word on YouTube, wearing adult content. The P word. Multiple women can be heard trying to convince the man to leave them alone. In an attempt to salvage his credibility, the man, now identified as Logan Dorn, posted a video to his own TikTok account explaining his side of the story. Logan claims that he, quote, just had righteous anger coming over him, and that he had, quote, boldness by the Holy Spirit to confront the ladies and to speak the truth. Wait, so
didn't he lose his job over this? Okay, yeah, let's actually play the video first.
I don't know if that's
There's no
true.
music here. No, that is true. I saw a follow up to this.
Oh no!
But yeah.
Wait, we need to share it with audio.
Thing. All right, hold on. How does TikTok work? Oh my God, hold on. TikTok is stupid. I'm just gonna.
Secular Rarity saying, "Can you wear adult content?"
I think TikTok really sucks, I must say. God damn it!
What's your problem?
TikTok is it should be used only on phone, not on a browser. Anyways, hold on. I got it. Don't worry. Share screen.
AP is saying men who preach religious stuff to attractive women are just horny and desperate. Facts.
True. True,
Yeah.
they're getting turned on and they're not happy about it. They're like, I want some of that and I can't have it, so I'm just
And
gonna
the
go
girls
hate on
come
them.
at him with biblical facts. They throw it back in his face. So good. Wait, we have to listen to this. Okay,
All right,
so
all right.
play the video.
Play the video.
Okay, so then why do you dress this way?
I'm hot and I like women, so please leave us alone.
Well,
Kindly.
take young.
I'm at the beach in my bathing
Yeah,
suit.
that's a thong and that's a bra.
That is a fucking bathing
Take
suit,
young
sir.
guys into consideration. They don't need to see pornography right in
We're
front of
not
their
coming
eyes.
up to you, bothering you. Please go away.
You're flaunting your stuff.
I'm not flaunting anything. Don't look at me.
How- you look around and you're the only thing that sticks out because your whole body.
Okay, well, why are you looking at me? Close your eyes. What did you say? Gouge your eyes out if I fucking bother you. You to talk to me?
Here's the thing.
Go
You didn't. But here's the thing. There's free will in America. There's freedom of speech.
You don't get the fuck away.
And if God don't stand up, our society's gonna go down the drain because there's no morality.
I'm atheist. Sorry.
Yeah, same.
Okay, that's if you're an atheist, that doesn't mean you have to, show your body off. You can still put clothes on.
Oh, I can't with you.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Embarrassing. I can't.
I'm speaking truth. Your body will never ever satisfy.
Please.
The physical never ever satisfy. There's a longing in each of your hearts to actually be seen. The reason why you're showing your body because you're like,
Dude.
am I pretty enough?
Please fuck off.
We're definitely
Please
pretty
go
enough.
away.
Thank you.
Yes, please leave us
Just
alone.
next time you come to a beach and there's young eyes, take that into consideration.
Bro,
Because
what are you talking about? Charlotte, you're not saying shit to them. Yeah, what are you fucking talking
You're gonna go bother that man now?
Yeah, go.
Move along.
that's a lot different.
How is
How is that? Because he has a fucking dick? Is that why?
Go down the drain because there's no.
Oh my god.
God,
And it
I
continues.
hate
You can
this
see
guy.
the thumbnail of the next video here. And in this next video, like the girls like break down other parts of their interactions, but they just show what they're actually wearing. And it's the most normal like bikinis you've ever seen. And they even say like there's thong bikini styles. And they're like, we weren't even wearing those. And it wouldn't have been wrong even if we did. Yeah, so I thought they came, and there were other videos that continue where like later there's another woman on the beach that like comes up to them and basically starts like kind of shaming them too and being like, you need to be considerate about the children around you and what you're projecting to the children and all this stuff. And they're like, we're just 18-year-olds in our bikinis. We're not doing anything to these kids.
Yeah, they were just wearing normal bikinis. Okay, I have to tell you guys, this got such a big backlash. It went viral, and this man lost his job. And I'm happy that I'm glad he deserves it. What the hell? I just the women were so based. The lines, they were first of all, I'm really glad that this video went viral, and in it she said, I'm an atheist. Like this video going, because us atheist channels or other atheist YouTubers, like average people don't come and get exposed to normalizing atheism. It's other atheists or other people who are interested in atheist content that come, watch videos or content by other atheists, right? Usually the word atheist doesn't go viral outside of these kinds of platforms. So I'm so glad that she's like, first of all, I'm an atheist. This really helps normalizing the word atheist and people identifying themselves as an atheist. So I'm so glad that she said that. And I'm so glad she was comfortable saying that. One, right? She has biblical knowledge. She's an atheist
with receipts.
She's an atheist and she knows the Bible. She's like, you're looking at me. You need to gouge your eyes out. I don't know if people know, in the Bible it says it's better to gouge your own eyes out than look at somebody with lust, because that eye in
Jesus
hell
said that, not just anyone.
Jesus, this is not Old
Jeebus.
Testament. This is the Jeebus and this is New Testament stuff, okay? Not Old Testament. And because that eye in hell would have worms eating on it forever and ever and ever because you looked at the woman in lust. So it's better for you to just normal people say stuff like this. You remove your eye. Jesus said to check it out and throw it away. Okay, this is the lovey-dovey part of the Bible that people say like, oh, it's the Old Testament is bad. No, this is the New Testament. Okay, not psychotic at all. Okay, but yeah, she knew. Like she's like, you better. So she said she's an atheist, and she showed that she had biblical knowledge, and she used it against this Christian man. It was fun. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. And then like, they're young eyes here, dude. She's wearing a bikini. She's like, that's like, are you teaching what are you teaching your kids? That there's something bad about a woman's body? Like this is like a woman in a bikini is like something disgraceful, degenerate or something? Like you're being toxic to children, not her. If you were responsible parents, you wouldn't making it seem like this is something disgusting or something degenerate to look at. You would be normalizing it. Children are not going to have a crisis looking at it, seeing a woman at the beach. It would be normal for them if they didn't have parents for you to see a woman in bikini on the beach. They wouldn't be like, oh, this is your behavior and the way you're raising your kids. That's the toxic part of this whole thing to children. Not seeing women in bikini on a goddamn beach. And I like how I also love the fact that they pointed to the double standard. They're like, are you gonna go tell him like men are wearing less? They're wearing just the shorts. They're like, are you gonna go bother him? He's not wearing anything. By the way, I also face some discrimination here in this live chat. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, look at this. Who is it? Somebody said, Armin, you need to cover up. I was like, why are they telling me and not Suze? Suze is covering even less than me. But this line by AP is so true. I really think he just had a hard on. I just think he just felt something, and he's like, I like that, and I can't have it, so I have to go.
And there's a couple of videos, and we can't show all of them because all put together they're pretty long. But you can find like a compilation of this all on YouTube if you're interested. Where this girl Mia and one of her friends are there, and they're like, we just turned 18, like recently. We could have been minors for all that he knew. And he's harassing us over this sort of stuff. It's just so inappropriate. And there's other videos where it goes more into him like preaching at them and trying to talk about how like what's going to happen like after they die and how they need to get right with God and like judgment and all this stuff. And they just keep on being like, we're not religious. And they keep doubling down. They're like, then gouge out your eyes then. That's not my problem. And I'm filled with righteous anger. And what I noticed is his fiance is like standing right there next to him, and she looks so uncomfortable, and she's not saying anything to him. And then they have like presumably their daughter that he either had from a previous relationship or from his current relationship, who's standing there. And I'm like, as a father, you need to understand your child is going to be infinitely more impacted by the way you act than the way that some random women at the beach act. So what your daughter is absorbing is that whatever this women are doing is so bad that you need to go confront them to their faces in public to go make them uncomfortable and tell them that they're doing something wrong. So that girl is going to have to deal with infinitely more sex shame and hatred of her own body and uncomfortability with her own body than anything those like 9 girls did by having them in your daughter's field of vision.
That is so well put, Suze. That was perfect. That was perfect. I also want to highlight what you just said about what they were wearing. This is an actual picture of them, and they're all just wearing normal bikinis. These are just bikinis. What the hell? Wait, where's that thing I highlighted? You unhighlighted it. Oh, no, it's still here. Look, David is saying Armin is showing way too much. I'm joking, by the way. I know I'm not. Armin is showing way too much skin. The stream. He needs a burqa. This is some sexism right here. Okay. Look at what I'm wearing. Trolling. I know, I'm kidding. I'm trolling back. But look at what I'm wearing, and look at what Susanna is wearing. Susanna is showing more skin than me, and I'm being targeted. This is absolute sexism. Chill, by the way. It's chill. And yes, boom, Susanna. Secular reality is good at recognizing every time you say. That was really good.
Thank you. I don't know. I think as like myself as a woman who grew up in a Christian household, like That's what I noticed so much more, is the way my parents reacted to things. What made them go silent, the kind of content that they had to fast forward through in movies that, you know, sends the message, even if no one is saying anything, that this is wrong, that you can't do this, that this is shameful. It's so weird.
I'm not gonna play. Should we play this one? No, right? But guys,
No,
if you
well,
want to
okay,
see,
guys, if you're interested in seeing the full thing, we
link is
embedded
in the
it in this in our article, which you can find is link is in the description. In later videos, he even starts getting like weirdly transphobic anymore because he's talking about if good men don't stand up, like society's gonna fall apart. People don't even know what their genders are nowadays. I'm like, bro.
right.
Has he never seen a bikini anymore? That's what I don't understand. This is giving me real like
aroused.
This is giving me real like born again Christian energy, where like you used to be like a drug addict and now like through Christ is how you're found your way out. And so now, even though you used to do like things that you now find shameful in your past, like you feel like you have to go prove that you're good by go calling out other people because you're like so deep in your new convictions now. Like it's giving me that vibe.
Well, congratulations to him. This is what he's going to be known for until the day he dies, and this is going to be what defines him. So you played yourself, and if you guys are interested, like the video that he made to explain what he did, his side made everything worse, right? So if you guys want to go see that, you know, he thought this was going to save him. It made it so much worse. Again, link to this article is in the description, and we have embedded his side of the story. You could go
and he
watch
tried to delete all that stuff after he posted it on TikTok. No, buddy. No, not in 2021.
Yeah. The internet is forever. Okay, Zakura, this is the third time you're posting this. I didn't want to highlight it because I was going to attack you again. But since you so want me to read this, because I'm going to read it.
This is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
If you wanted our attention that bad.
I was not going to address it, but I see you really, really want me to address it, so I will, okay? Zakura is saying, I'm married for more than 2 years. I was ambivalent before, but after seeing her reply to that dude and the Afghan woman, I now desire to have a daughter. Okay, guys, don't have children to make a statement, okay? Children are not billboards. Okay? Children are not a source of your activism, okay? That's not a good idea, all right? So I just wanted to... all right. Okay, no, Zakura can take it. I know. Zakura is a big boy. He can take it.
Don't make children a statement. That is so true.
Right, yeah.
That's the most important thing you've said in a long time. Damn. A lot of religious people make their children their statement.
All right. Should we clap for the next news?
Neil.
No?
No.
Okay. All right, next news.
Next news. Rainbow crosswalk in Ontario vandalized with Bible verse. A rainbow crosswalk was recently installed in a crossing in Port Colborne in Ontario, Canada. However, less than a month after the rainbow crosswalk's installation, right-wing fundamentalist Christians were quick to spread their unfounded hate for the LGBTQ plus community. Genesis 9:13 was scrawled onto the pavement, which is a verse from the Old Testament. The verse Genesis 9:13 reads, I have set my rainbows in the clouds, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. AKA God's reminder to himself, his sticky note in the sky, not to commit mass genocide again. This verse is famous to anti-LGBTQ Christians who claim that their God has the quote-unquote original ownership of the rainbow, crying foul over the LGBTQ community's use of it. And they usually bring this verse out, such as the case of vandalizing this crosswalk, as a way to pronounce that they are reclaiming the rainbow, taking it back from the LGBT community. Austin Gooder, a member of Niagara's queer community, stated that the vandalism is dismissive of the queer community that has worked hard towards its own liberation and is still working hard to this day.
I really, really loved your description of the rainbow in Genesis. It just made me imagine God a couple of times wanting to come and commit another genocide, and then seeing the rainbow like, oh, damn.
I promised these fools I wouldn't do this again. But they'd
Like,
be
he
so
will
gross
forget-
and dirty.
he'll
They'd
like-
be disobeying me, but I made a promise, man. The guy was in the boat for nothing. I can't. Damn.
How many times do you think God almost did another flood and then just saw the rainbow and were like, oh yeah, that thing? Like, because he needs a reminder. Like, he's admitting in Genesis that he needs anyways. And by the way, it's felt so interesting because Christians think like LGBT have turned the rainbow into something deprived, like something like disgusting, something gross, right? But the original thing was something beautiful, a promise from God. But like a promise from God not to do genocide because he already did one. Like, it's so amazing that they think that original message of the rainbow was actually something beautiful. It just shows you where their priorities are. Like, they're like, now it's bad. Before it was about genocide. like
It's
like,
so funny though, because
just
when
wiping
you
out the
grow up in a
entire
Christian
planet. So
household,
beautiful. Yeah.
That when you grow up in a Christian household, that's not how it's characterized. You're like, every time you look at a rainbow, little Susie, remember God's promise to us. He cares about us so much, blah, blah, blah. And then you grow up and you start to look at things critically and you're like, hold up, what?
Just like God's beautiful promise not to wipe out the entire planet for a second time. I mean, actually, he's going to
So
do that
funny.
again at the end. Yeah. The book of
True. He's breaking his promise.
Doesn't the book of Revelation contradict the Genesis? Because he's like, I just promised not to do it with a flood. I didn't say I'm not going to commit mass genocide.
You're
It's just
right.
going to be a different one. It's just not going to
You're
be a
not
flood.
wrong. You're not wrong.
All right.
Oh my gosh. No, but there was someone who was in the local community who was asked to give comment on this, and I thought this was so funny. Oh my god, wait, where was it? Basically,
Wait, I'm actually wrong. There is flood in Revelations. Hold on. Go on.
No, but I want to read this real quickly. And this is a gay person talking, and they're like, it's also really dismissive of the religious people who identify with the pride flag. And then he continues, if the rainbow is a godly sign, then the people who will vandalize a rainbow crosswalk are vandalizing a sign of God. Sounds like a logical contradiction to me. I thought that was funny.
I think if I remember my Revelations correctly, I think I was wrong. I think there is also flood in Book of Revelation. So God does legit break his promise. Anyways, I'm not sure.
Well, we have Google. Let me Google this.
Anyways.
Revelations, Bible, flood. Oh. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting something. There is Revelation 12:15 that says, then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. Also translated as flood. What does this mean? Often meant to be entirely symbolic. Others seem more literal. It's not entirely impossible that someone might attempt to use flooding as a weapon. It is doubtful, though, that the serpent sent a river of water to sweep away escaping Jews away in a flood. More likely, the flood represents the invading forces of the King of the North. The King of the North!
Okay, wait. AJ.
Typically
AJ
identified as Russia. The Russians are coming. That's what Revelations said.
All right. Wow. AJ is saying Revelation floods are regional not global. That's the difference. Okay, so this is getting very like pedantic. God said that he's not going to wipe out the planet again with a flood. But he is, in the book of Revelation, we realize that he is going to wipe out the planet, and it will involve floods, but it's not the flood with its entirety. Like, there will be some flood, but
not with a capital F. Not with a capital F.
So the planet will be completely wiped off. There will be some regional floods. So technically, he's still keeping his promise, because the entire wiping out the planet, it's not all of it is not with a flood. So this is why Noah had to bring a lawyer to that agreement. So for somebody to actually read the fine print before signing that, So
we all need an attorney.
Actually, see, this is what Noah's attorney was drowned. That's what happened.
Noah's attorney was the unicorn that we now no longer see.
No, it's hard to find an attorney to like read the fine print with the agreement that you're having with God if everybody is drowned, right? They should.
When I was growing up, there was a story about, because the kids were like, why aren't there unicorns, blah, blah, blah. And there was basically a story that they would tell us about the reason why unicorns don't exist is because there was a unicorn that was like too lackadaisical or like too silly or didn't listen or something. And he didn't make the roll call basically for Noah's Ark. And so they got killed in the flood, and that's why we have no unicorns. Oh, here's where you can see a picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is great, by the way. I want them to do this. This is just like such a great opportunity for us to just show what these people are about. You know, it's fantastic. I think they didn't anticipate this to get this much attention. So just keep doing it, guys.
Oh my gosh. Wait, AGA is saying that's a song by the Irish Rovers. Thank you. I couldn't remember what that was. I got to go look that up again now.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
The story of the unicorns not existing because of the flood is actually from a song.
Wait, really? I thought that was just a meme. Okay. Interesting. All right. So, can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next news.
Polish death metal artist gets blasphemy charges dismissed. So we previously covered the story, and now we have a very happy ending to it. Death metal musician Adam Nergal-Darski, a founding member of the band Behemoth, recently announced that the blasphemy charges levied against him have been dismissed. On September 25th, 2019, Nergal had posted a picture of his foot stepping on what appears to be a painting of the Virgin Mary, which you can see here. Then, in February 2021, Nergal was convicted of offending religious feelings with a penalty fine that equated to nearly $5,000 USD. He contested the conviction and formed the organization Ordo Blasphema to help monetarily assist other artists legally persecuted for their creative expression and to fight for the repeal of the blasphemy provision in the Polish Penal Code. Nergal announced his victory in an Instagram post and said, quote, "Common sense beats the crap out of fundamentalist agendas, which means one more step towards Poland remaining a secular state."
Okay. I was just looking for the blasphemous art that we did on this to share with everybody.
Yes, we made art for this story.
Guys, we made art for the story while this was happening. So I'm just trying. I was being very careful. I'm going to show it right now. I was just trying to be very careful because a lot of people might not know. We make two versions of all our art. One is safe for work, and the other one is not safe for work. The safe for work, we email it to our newsletter subscribers, and I'm going to show you the safe for work version. Oh, by the way, if you're not on our newsletter, get on our newsletter so you can get all our blasphemous art, the safe for work version of it for free. They're still sexy, even though they're safe for work. And the not safe for work version of it, which involves nudity, is only available to our patrons, and you can become a patron. Link in the description. Anyway, so about this news, here's the blasphemous art. Like this, we did this a while back ago. This is the blasphemous art we did about this. Wait, am I zoomed in? Yes.
Yes. So, this was my idea.
Yeah. This is Mother Mary, because that's what he's getting punished for. Like apparently you can't blaspheme against Mother Mary in Europe, which is unbelievable. So we just wanted to celebrate the fact that he's not backing down, and we just made this blasphemous art about that, right? Again, guys, we have so much more blasphemous art. This was like a long time ago that we did this, and we have so much more now, and we send it to all our newsletter subscribers to get. What was your thought? Like, what made you think of this?
So
yeah, explain.
They were saying that this was so crazy to me. So these people brought charges against him for this quote unquote blasphemy for a post that was made years beforehand. So they came after him like 2 years after the original post. And they were saying that this is so insulting to the Virgin Mary. This is insulting to people's religious sensibilities and all this stuff. And my contention was, how can you speak for the Virgin Mary? How can you decide that this is an insult or a disparaging to her? Maybe she likes, licking some boots. Maybe there are people who like being stepped on. There's nothing wrong with that. And we decided to, do our own spin on this story.
Yeah, like you're making assumptions on behalf of Mother Mary, and you never asked her. Maybe she's honored. So there you go. Very good point. Very good point.
Oh my gosh, wait, AGA had the funniest comment. She's saying, I'm extremely upset we haven't been banned from Poland yet.
Yeah, guys, like what do we have to do to complete the set? Atheist Republic had the Malaysian government coming after us, right? Mm-hmm. So we got the Islamic country covered. We had the BJP, the Hindu government coming after us. So we got the Hindu one done. We need a Christian.
Well, and there was also Pakistan.
We got Pakistan. Yes, Pakistan also came. I mean, Pakistan just like silent. They gave us the silent treatment. They just banned us. Like it wasn't like the India.
That counts for something.
Yeah. Okay. Pakistan okay. I guess we're gonna block your website and Facebook page in Pakistan without raising much of a think about it. It was like we were mentioned in Malaysian's parliament. The deputy minister mentioned us.
Then
they tried to block on the entirety of Facebook. They asked in the Malaysian parliament if we should block all of Facebook in their parliament as a way to tackle Atheist Republic. That was a serious proposal by a deputy minister in the parliament. We have video footage of that. So we got Malaysia, and then India. Our Atheist Republic has been mentioned all the way in the Supreme Court of India as a way to tackle our blasphemy. So Pakistan hasn't been treating us that as seriously as Malaysia and India, but we don't care, Pakistan. We want to get the Christian. We want to get a Christian country. And it's really hard to get a Christian country to come after us because they're not as sensitive these days. They used to be, but go on.
Well, and Poland is one of the few Christian nations that is actually keeps up this penalizing people for blasphemy. Like we also did art of the LGBT Virgin Mary because people were facing up to 2 to 3 years in prison for basically doing a creative rainbow halo rendition of a local icon of the Madonna. Serious penalties.
Poland is our only hope to get on a radar of a Christian government, or Hungary could be also. I think it's Poland. Yeah. We have to. What do we have to do, Poland, for you to come after us? Do something. We have to try hard. It's going to be really.
It was really interesting. His case was dismissed because the ruling stated that the post in question was posted in a social media channel targeted for a specific audience with an appropriate disclaimer. So they're basically saying, if you're scrolling the page of a death metal artist known to be a Satanist, you're probably going to see something like this. It's for that audience. I thought that was interesting, the means of dismissal. And he's faced numerous blasphemy charges before. This isn't his first time. But I think one of the coolest things about him doing this is him starting Ordo Blasphema, that is specifically to fight for the repeal of the blasphemy provision in Poland. And he calls it what it is. He's bold, and he says, you know, this is to fight for true secularism, which other country like has blasphemy laws. And then people corrected him. There's a lot. They're Islamic ones. But yeah, I really appreciate his stance on this and just not backing down. Although he did say some very spicy things in his announcement of the case being dismissed, because he, you know, is saying, oh yay, like this is one more step towards Poland remaining a secular state. And then he continues, he says, moreover, I know it's like talking to a wall, but to all my adversaries, don't give me that do the same with the Quran BS, because it's old and irrelevant. I keep on spamming here because I simply love polarization between half of you dear followers congratulating me for the battle won, and the other half that would love to see me cruci-effed. Instead of crucifixed.
Yeah, I mean, guys, like, you know, not everybody has to do all brands of activism. We do it. We desecrated the Quran. But you can't just be like, I mean, what's next? Like, you have to do every goddamn book out. Like, just focus on whatever. If you want to focus on Christianity, focus on Christianity. It's fine. By the way, guys, I must remind you. Yeah, go ahead.
I actually think that criticism isn't coming from other people like us saying, why don't you do the Quran? That criticism is probably coming from Christians trying to throw it in his face. Like, oh, you're doing it because it's similar to the criticism we got from Hindu extremists who like didn't actually know that we'd already done it. We're like, oh yeah, you think you're so brave to do it to Hindus? You do it because we won't fight back. Do it to the Quran. And I'm like, I already did.
Sus, we still to this day we get people telling us you would never. A lot of Hindus still tell us you would never do this to Islam or the Quran. It's so amazing. Like, oh, that's so cute. You have no idea. You have no idea. Anyways, I do want to. I was going to mention something. Yeah, Poland is not just a European. Like, this is already outrageous that we have something like this. We don't have just blasphemy laws, okay? Because some other countries have, like Canada has blasphemy laws, but they're not enforced. Like, they're just sitting on the book, which is already an embarrassment. They should be removed. But this is such outrageous in a much higher degree, because these are blasphemous laws that are being enforced. And again, not just in a European country, in an EU member European country. Like, how is this a thing? This is going to make it so difficult for us to even go fight blasphemy in other places where an EU member state actually enforces blasphemy laws that they have in the books. And Poland, did this to the other one. There was another story from Poland as well, where we had a woman who had Mother Mary with the rainbow halo, and she got into legal trouble. It is unbelievable that we're seeing this in European countries. Like, come on. Anyways, I just want to highlight that this is still a thing. All right, can we clap for the next news?
Yes, we can.
Next news.
Atheists must be included in Canada's Special Humanitarian Assistance Program for Afghan nationals. So, this is a press release that Atheist Republic just put out a few days ago. Atheist Republic is the first secular organization in Canada to call upon the government to clarify and correct a grave error in the recently constructed Special Humanitarian Assistance Program for Afghan nationals. Canada is one of the few countries offering resettlement for vulnerable and at-risk Afghans who did not specifically work for any occupying foreign government, with up to 20,000 spots available. Afghans eligible for this program must fit within at least one of the following categories: women leaders, human rights advocates, LGBTI individuals, journalists and people who assisted Canadian journalists, extended family members of the previously resettled interpreters who assisted the government of Canada, immediate family members of one of the above, and persecuted religious minorities. The language of this policy, which designates the only belief-based persecuted group eligible for this program as religious, explicitly discriminates against atheists, a group at high risk of deadly persecution by the Taliban. This highly restrictive wording is not aligned with Canada's United Nations human rights responsibilities to protect freedom of religion or belief, and must be corrected immediately.
This is such a good thing that is out there, and you led this, so thank you so much for this. You and I don't know if I can say his name, so I'm not gonna.
No, we can. Yeah, I want to give huge credit to one of our directors, Robert. He was incredibly helpful with this. I wouldn't have been able to execute a lot of this without him because I'm chronically overworked, and he's super amazing at helping push me to do stuff like this.
It's so amazing that, you know, atheists are one of the most discriminated against and endangered minority groups out there, and they're often thought about the least and last as an afterthought. I mean, ex-Muslims in Afghanistan, like, if you're trying to protect people, how could you miss that? Like, you're listing everybody that it could be. You know, atheists just don't matter. Like, when it comes to oppression and discrimination, they just don't even, they're not even noticed as a category of people that they need protection. Even though, I mean, it's within their laws. It's within the laws of Afghanistan even before Taliban for ex-Muslims to be executed. Right?
Yes.
Guys,
yes.
Think how bad the situation is.
Article 130.
We're talking about the fact that ex-Muslims in Afghanistan were punishable, their existence is punishable by death, even under the government that was endorsed by the United States. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong about this, right? And now we have the Taliban, right? So we're talking about women's situation getting worse, LGBT situation getting worse. But we're not talking about ex-Muslims who already had it really bad, like people that were even in fear before. Like, you're only highlighting the people that were not, the situation wasn't as bad for them before, and now the situation is bad. Think about how horrible, what is the situation of ex-Muslim? Like, everywhere, like, there's not, guys. Let me actually clarify this, okay? Because I don't want to participate in the oppression Olympics, because I happen to be an atheist and I happen to be an ex-Muslim, right? And this might seem like we saying like, oh, look at me, look at us, poor us, okay? So I'm not trying to portray myself as a victim. I'm fine. I have actually never experienced any form of discrimination for being an atheist or for being an ex-Muslim, okay? I mean, just maybe when I was in Iran, but that was just a little bit. I left. I'm fine. I'm completely fine. This is not me crying victimhood. Okay. I'm talking about other people. Okay. Atheists are one of the most oppressed group of people in the world. Okay. And relative to how much discrimination they're facing, the level of attention and the level of protection and the level of institutions and organizations and advocates that exist out there for them is relatively non-existent compared to all the other groups, right? Compared to the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims, the Hindus, the LGBT, women's rights. These are the people that need the most, you know, everybody. Like, again, I'm not saying LGBT people and trans, you know, and women's and Muslims and Hindus and Christians and Jews, they should, the groups that they have that bring attention to their oppression, I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. There should be more of those even. Like, it's like, I'm not saying that should be reduced. I'm just saying relative to that, atheists receive almost no attention, even though they are, like, how many other minority groups can you refer to and say that in 13 countries their existence is punishable by death? Not any action, just their mere existence. Okay, it's punishable by death. Okay, I mean, the closest thing could be like gay activity, not being gay, is punishable by death in 10 countries, right? I think it was 10, all Islamic, obviously. But that's the closest thing. But, you know, even if you don't want to accept the claim that atheists are the most discriminated group around the world, they're at least one of the most discriminated. Like they're pretty high up there. Okay, it could be the most, it could be pretty high up there, but they do need more protection. And we have a country. Canada is one of the leading countries when it comes to taking human rights seriously. And you can see that even in a language of a country that is so careful, that is so tries to like, dot the I's and cross the T's, and has experts, human rights experts, and is like pays millions of dollars into making sure that they're on the right side of human rights. Atheists are just like, they're not even thought of. They're not like who atheists what, right? We're talking about atheist ex-Muslims in Afghanistan. How could that not be a priority? How could that not even a priority? How could that not even make it on your list of all the people that you're mentioning that need protection? It's unbelievable. But go.
Well, this is what I find frustrating. So I have been talking to a lot of people from other secular Canadian organizations over the past month, and learning about their insight and experience and their frustrations that they have with bringing this issue to the Canadian government, because the Canadian government, isn't the first time they've made this major and grave oversight. In Canada, there's something called less complex claims for refugee asylum seeker cases. And it's basically a way to kind of fast track certain refugee and asylum seekers through the process. However, the group that is not eligible for this program is atheists, because the language is explicitly religious. Right? Again, religious persecuted groups.
Is there any way
this is another big oversight? Shoot, what was I going to say? There was actually a huge chunk about the background of the problem that I took out of this press release, because I wanted this to be more quick and newsworthy. So I can read that if people are interested. But I also wanted to talk about some of the other things that we call upon the Canadian government to do in this press release.
Before you do that, two things. First of all, how could people get this statement and bring it to more people that need to see it?
Well, link is in the description, very last news in this description. If you go to atheistrepublic.com and you see the tab, it says news, you click on that, you click press releases, you will find it.
Okay. And also, last point, before you go into other points that was made in the statement, read what Dee is saying.
Dee is saying, this is why it's so important for us to embrace the label, to stop being overlooked. It's very true. Oh.
If you are an atheist and if it's safe for you, please call yourself an atheist. It helps. It really does help. Embrace the label. Anyways, go on.
Well, one thing I find particularly frustrating is that people I've talked to who have experience going to the government about these kind of issues and oversights, they say that some pushback they get from members of the government is that, well, anyone can claim to be an atheist. This is a major concern in terms of bringing people into the country. And that is BS to me. Anyone can claim to be a Christian. Anyone can claim to be a Shia. Anyone can claim to be LGBT. So why are you privileging these groups? Okay, they're not recognizing the real and systemic oppression that atheists face around the world. It's no small matter for someone to identify as an atheist. Even if it is false, that's not a small matter for someone that comes from these communities. And if I entrust the Canadian government to do the background work to ensure that that is true. But just saying on its face that we can't have these kinds of provisions because anyone can claim to be an atheist is total bullshit, because anyone can claim to be part of any given group identity.
Right. I just want to, because Susanna, because some people might be idiots and they might not understand what you're saying. Susanna is not saying that just because anybody could say that they're LGBT, or anybody that could say that they're Shia in a Sunni majority country, or anybody that could say they're Christian in a Muslim country, that you should not, that she's not advocating, obviously she's not, but some people are dumb. She's not advocating that we shouldn't take somebody saying that they're Shia they're being oppressed as a Shia in a Sunni majority country. She's not saying that we shouldn't take that seriously and investigate it and accept these people. Is she saying that given that we accept that challenge, given that human rights group know that some people could be pretending, but they still don't want to ignore LGBT people or other minority groups that could be lying, but most of them, I don't know, a lot of them aren't. So you investigate, like you try to come up with that challenge. Like how do we recognize who actually needs help and who doesn't, right? So if we are building the structure and the processes that is there to be able to find who's in need, who's actually LGBT and is being oppressed, who's actually Shia and being oppressed by Sunnis, or who's actually Sunni and is being oppressed by Shias, or who's actually Christian. If all of that exists for other people, then we should be able to create the same processes for atheists, for people who are claiming to be oppressed because they're atheists or ex-Muslim. Okay,
exactly.
Go ahead.
It's a total BS excuse to preclude atheists because you think it's easier to make that claim as opposed to any other group. It's no different. Actually, it's well known that many people claim to be a Christian because they know that there's much support waiting for them from organizations and charitable places than as a specific means to get into countries. This is well known.
Actually,
I don't see extra skepticism there.
There should be skepticism, but
yes, I'm not arguing otherwise.
But it shouldn't stop us to actually help people who need it, right?
Yeah.
I know you're not saying it, but again, people are dumb. Actually, something very interesting that you pointed, a lot of ex-Muslims who are atheists pretend that they're ex-Muslims who are Christian. Think about this. There's such a lack of support for ex-Muslims who are atheists that for ex-Muslims to be able to get the support that they need when they're fleeing Islamic countries, even though they have left religion and they don't believe in Christianity, they know that there are not atheist institutions and organizations and communities there for them, or any human rights groups that will support them. To be able to get the support that they need, they have to pretend that they left Islam and converted to Christianity, because there are Christian communities, there are churches, there are fundraisers, there are lawyers, there's child support, there's food, there's shelter. Think about what that means, guys. This is one thing we wanted Atheist Republic to be, but we will never get there because people don't donate to us that much and we will never have the resources, right? We wanted to be the organization that is there for these kind of atheists, that all these giant resources that exist for Christians who are fleeing Islamic countries. We wanted Atheist Republic to fill that gap for atheists, but we will never be able. These Christian institutions are rich. They have lawyers. They have food banks. They have so much money.
Decades or hundreds of years as an institution.
We will never be able to provide a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of that. So, anyways. But yeah, go on. You wanted to highlight more of the statement?
Well, there's other things that we call on Canada to also ensure. So the primary one is to make sure to include non-religious Afghans, humanists, and agnostics. This language in the policy needs to be clarified and corrected. We also call upon the government of Canada to publicly commit to maintaining its special immigration program and special humanitarian program for Afghan nationals for a minimum of a 5-year period, to increase funding to Canadian service provider organizations working with Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada, which are dedicated to providing logistical and social support for Afghan families resettling in Canada, and to report publicly on Canada's status against its August 2021 commitment to resettle 20,000 Afghan nationals at risk of persecution. Because it's important that the government is actually accountable for these programs, that they report how things are going openly. And we also wanted to talk about a commitment of a 5-year period, because this crisis in Afghanistan, I kind of don't like when people are saying like that as if this is a new thing. This isn't a new thing. It's just accelerated, right? But it's not going away. It's not going away, and there will continue to be people for years and decades to come who need to leave. right? So governments shouldn't act like we just evacuated people once and we're good to go. No, there's going to be ramifications for many, many years to come. There was something I wrote that I kind of wanted to read because I couldn't include it in the press release. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on it. So this is background and emphasizing exactly why this is an issue for atheists in Afghanistan, because a lot of people don't actually understand. Most people don't know that apostasy is punishable by death. So this is, I didn't include this because it's too researchy, because that's how my mind is. But apostasy is punishable by death under Article 130 of the Afghan Constitution, one of 13 countries that maintain the death penalty for apostasy. Afghanistan is also one of 8 countries worldwide that punish blasphemy with the death penalty. Allegations of blasphemy are frequently used against atheists to incite deadly extrajudicial mob violence against them. Oftentimes, the mere act of leaving Islam itself may be viewed as an insult to Islam and therefore be characterized as blasphemous. According to the most recent data from Pew Research Center, 79% of Afghans support the death penalty for leaving Islam. While the status of the Afghan penal code is in question due to the takeover, it is reasonable to assume that the Taliban's treatment of atheists will be as severe as that of the previous government, if not more so. The Taliban are known for their fidelity to Sharia, or Islamic law, specifically the Deobandi vein of the Hanafi school of jurisprudence. The classical understanding of the Hanafi prescription for punishment for apostasy is execution for men, with the non-essential option of providing 3 days for repentance preceding the execution, while for women, the punishment is solitary confinement with beatings every 3 days until she returns to Islam. Punishing apostasy with death is validated and promoted in authentic Islamic scripture, such as the Quran and the Hadith, sayings and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, of which the Taliban are well known for their literalist interpretations of these texts. So I wanted to include that because a lot of people don't actually have an understanding of the background of where this is coming from, and they may be quick to dismiss it. What's interesting about the article in the Afghan Constitution, which is how the death penalty for apostasy is valid, is because this is a specific article of the Constitution that says basically any part of the law that we haven't particularly written out within our own constitution or penal code, we are basically going to defer to the Hanafi school of jurisprudence. Well, what is the Hanafi ruling on apostasy? It's execution. So just to clarify that, because some people might look at it and be like, Susanna, that's not the like ruling or letter of the law, but that's how it pans out.
Right. So when you say you didn't include it because it's too researchy, what you mean is that it was just like a list of research facts that if you included, it would make it less likely for somebody to actually read the statement. Is that what you meant?
Yes. A press release has to be very poignant, notey, boom, 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 hit your points, and also newsworthy, right? Because
I just wanted to clarify that, because for people who might not know you, they might have come to the impression that you're saying it's too researchy, as if like you wouldn't want to do the research, but you have already done the research. And for anything,
I wrote
Susanna,
that.
Susanna loves doing research. She loves nerding it. But no, that was actually, I'm impressed that you actually did all the work, and that was a very well written, and then you decided to not put it in there. So that's, but I mean,
that's actually why I wanted to read it now.
Because you did the work and you didn't include it, so you wanted us to listen. Aww. No, that was very well written. That was very good.
Thank you.
And the good thing about your writing is that you don't exaggerate. You consider people's objections. You consider the nuances. You put in the other side. Like, I know, like a lot of people from our community, they're just like, well, if Afghanistan, well, they're Muslim, so obviously it's going to, anybody who does this is going to be choppy and their heads off. Like, it's not like that. Like, it's not that simple. Like, it's complicated. Like, you go actually look at the information. Well, it's not in the law books, but they're appealing to the Hanafi school of thought. And this is like, like you address the fact that it's not written. Like, so you don't make it like, you don't simplify things. And I think like more people should appreciate the work that you put into all of this, right? You make a lot of you make a lot of information a lot easier for the rest of us to consume. So thank you for doing that. Anyways, do we need to add anything other than telling people, guys, before we start like closing off, make sure you like the video. Like right now. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take anything away from you, and it helps our channel. It helps us grow. We're doing great work here, and you have access to our content for free. You get everything we do to you for free. You could, right? So the least they could do is just help us with the liking the video. It doesn't take anything away from you, anything, and it helps us grow. Okay, as a thanks to us, that would be very much appreciated. And if it is safe, do not do this if you're in a place where it's not safe. Then share our content. Please share our content. Help us grow, and subscribe to our newsletter. Link in the description to get our beautiful, sexy, blasphemous art for free. And we make new blasphemous art every single week. And they're gorgeous, they're beautiful. They have interesting messages attached to them. Me and Susanna think about them. And also thanks to our artist for all the blasphemous art she's making. Make sure you subscribe to get that every week sent to you. Okay. Anyways,
one more thing.
Yeah.
This is a note to my editor to like paste this in to the end of this new segment. There were some people asking how they can help with this Afghan situation and what the issue that we wrote this press release about. It's a little bit difficult because Canada is in elections right now. But once the elections are over, if you're Canadian, consider writing to your MP about this and bringing it to their attention.
Yes. I'm surprised Queen Fabi actually thanked me today. She's like, thank you. Queen Fabi was like, yes, thank you for your hard work, Suze. And then cough, you too, Armin. Finally, I got some.
Armin does work hard. He does work really hard.
No, I know. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Guys, me and Susie, subscribe to this channel if you're interested in watching me and Suze review Daniel Hangachu and Harry Sultan's debate. Me and Suze are going to go through it, and we're going to review it, analyze it, and we're going to be honest. If Daniel Hangachu says something made better points than Harry Sultan, we're not going to sugarcoat it just because we're on Harry Sultan's side. We're going to like tell her So if you're interested in seeing that, basically it's a Muslim versus ex-Muslim debate, and we're going to be reviewing it on this channel. Probably it's going to take 12 hours for us to do it, but we'll see. We'll see if we want to do all of it or just some of it. Anyway, guys, bye. Talk to you later.
My money's on Hakikaju.
Same. All right.
Damn.
Bye.